Welcome to the Susan Brender Show. It's all about you, featuring shows on health and wellness, the performing arts, politics, and people who inspire you to be your best. And now, here's Susan Brender.
I'm Susan Brender, and this is the Susan Brender Show. Today, my guest is Marcus Padulchick. Marcus has developed a launching platform for women entrepreneurs and small business owners looking to move from where they are to a place of success and prosperity in their life. I want to welcome Marcus Padulchick to the Susan Brender Show.
Thank you, Susan. Thank you so much for having me as a guest on your show.
Well, I'm delighted to have you on my show because you're going to teach people a lot. So let's start with this. You utilize a wide variety of methodologies and systems, including but not limited to motivational coaching. Now, let's ask the first thing. What do you call motivational coaching? What is the definition?
Thank you. Coaching has a lot of different applications, kind of gotten to a general term, but motivational coaching is to take someone who's an entrepreneur or small business owner and assist, guide, and support them to move to a desire to be motivated to grow their business. Many times entrepreneurs and small business owners are in a state of habitual flux. They do the same thing over and over again with slight changes here and there. And it becomes such a pattern that they don't know how to go from where they are to where they want to be in regards to scaling their business and making it even more successful than it may be in the moment. So that's the motivational cue.
Mm-hmm. Now, what ignites the spark in a person who wants to start a new business venture?
I think to a certain degree, the passion and the drive and the enthusiasm is based on the history of that individual. But I think there is also a component that is found in all entrepreneurs, and that happens to be able to steer their own ship, to take their own direction, and to be able to say, I am either going to succeed or not by my own standards, by my sense of self, rather than being in a corporate environment where they are simply a small facet of a much larger picture. So I think when it comes to entrepreneurship, I think it's something that has to do not so much in the mind with an idea, but it comes from the heart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, Marcus, the driving force behind your mission is what?
My driving force is to get an entrepreneur, small business owner, to a place where they can find a level of security and comfort in their business, where they're no longer the hamster on the wheel. A hamster is constantly in motion. They cover a lot of ground, but they don't get anywhere. So with me and my partner and our team, we come in and we bring new eyes to somebody's business. We all see just a limited viewpoint of what's going on within our own business because there's just so much unfolding that we really can't take it all in.
Yeah. Now, Marcus, what would you say are the top 3 skills needed to be a successful entrepreneur? Because there must be many skills that one needs, but give me the top 3 in your opinion. Okay.
Well, first, just as as an aside, to preface that, hopefully the entrepreneur and the business direction in which they are moving is one that they already have a skill set in, that they have an understanding, or maybe they have been immersed in it in another way, or they've exposed to it, or they have the skill sets to be able to make it into a thriving and viable operation. Now, let's just assume that's there. the three skills that are necessary aren't so much tactical, but it's drive, the willingness to do what it takes to get to where they want to be. However, it requires a clear understanding of what that end game is. The second thing is constantly being able to be flexible and shift when necessary, because there will be so many things coming at an entrepreneur as they go through their business. They have to be able to adapt, so you have to be adaptable.
So now, how far do you think it takes a person who is willing to succeed? How far do they have to go in order to do that? Because we're in a very competitive world where there is so many things going on, and there's not that many jobs available. Am I wrong?
Well, that's a great question, and thank you, because it kind of leads into the third thing. What's the third skill, if you will, or the must-have for an entrepreneur? It's to push past their envelope of comfort, to keep driving to that place where they're standing, they're looking at the horizon, and not say, I failed, or it's been too long, and turn their backs on it, when all they would have to do is take another step forward and see over that horizon this great, amazing thing that they were just about to be able to accomplish. So to kind of get to your question that you just asked about, there's not too many jobs out there. Well, that's what's so amazing and so special about entrepreneurship. It's you're not limited to any one industry. You're not limited to one demographic. In this day and age, with the technology we have and the ability to reach people with live streaming and blogs and just about, we can do a laundry list of things. It's you creating your job. You're not creating an opportunity to become an employee of someone else. You have the ability to be really anything you want, provided you want to put the time, effort, and energy in. So is there a lot of jobs out there? Well, let's just say there's not. So what I'm saying, this is a greater opportunity. Everything since our economy here in the United States has shifted around in the 2007, 2008, there has been major growth within the entrepreneurial arena. And our agency focuses on a very, very defined niche. We work, we support, we assist in empowering women entrepreneurs. We have small businesses that are men as well, but I believe wholeheartedly and without a shadow of a doubt that women entrepreneurs and women small business owners are going to be the driving force to grow our economy. And what I see the projection out is it's going to take a solid foothold. I mean, it's ramping up now. By 2020, which is not that far off, you're going to see women entrepreneurs being major players, putting local individuals living in the local community to work and making it happen. It's corporations, of course, they're going to be here, economically, that's it. But I truly believe that entrepreneurship is the way to go.
Now, if somebody wants to be an entrepreneur, how far do you think, well, let's change that for a moment. What's your definition of success? Because for many people, success is maybe making money, maybe becoming the president of a company. What's your definition of success?
Definition of success for me is not necessarily making money. Success for me is taking something and growing it into a business that is able to sustain me, employees, my family, and theirs. And success has a cousin, has a partner, and that partner is prosperity. Prosperity is where you generate income, where revenue comes in, and you're making money. A lot of people can be successful. They can grow a business. They have brand recognition. They can be well known in their community, but they may not be sustainable. Their business looking in looks solid and looks as though it has a solid, strong foundation. But sometimes when we get in, this is why people call us in a lot of times, is come in and bring new eyes onto their business to show them issues or concerns or potential changes or being able to pivot their business in a way, going back to that flexibility part I mentioned earlier, to get to that level of prosperity.
Mm-hmm. Now, Marcus, do you believe there's some sort of pattern or formula to becoming a successful entrepreneur?
I do. I most surely do. And this is where a lot of entrepreneurs, some people say you were either born with the entrepreneurial spirit, the entrepreneurial gene, which I certainly have, or you don't, and it cannot be learned. I truly believe that anyone, again, time, effort, and energy, if that's what you're willing to put in, are there systems and methodologies? There certainly are. It's learning to be organized. It's learning to be forward-thinking. It's learning to stay focused on the goal. Mm-hmm. So how do you do that? You utilize tools. You constantly, especially with the internet, I mean, there is a plethora of information. We could probably live 3,000 lifetimes before we ever absorbed everything that was available when it came to entrepreneurship. Mm-hmm. So using tools and making sure that we don't go through our day by happenstance. We go through our day by design. But I will say, here's a caveat to this. Many people, when you sit down with them, when I sit down with them, or my partner Sandra Pendragon sits down, or one of our team, and we talk to these people, one thing that we find that keeps them from being successful is they don't even like being told what to do by themselves, because they revert back, if you will, to an 8-year-old who's stomping their foot saying, well, I don't want to do this and I don't want to do that, and I want to go out and play. And as an entrepreneur is a lot of work. You know, this idea of quit your job in corporate and go out into the world and do what you love, and you're going to have all this free time to go on trips and be with your family. Well, that's not the case. There's a lot of work putting into it. But I will tell you, anyone that's listening, I will tell you it is worth it, because I would rather put a few years in of many, many hours to grow a business that is sustainable, to be able, years down the road, instead of taking a weekend off or a long, vacation of 2 weeks, I like to come to a place where my vacation is 365 days a year.
Oh, that's very interesting. Now, Marcus, if you could talk to one person from history, who would it be and why? Because there have been so many entrepreneurs that have been successful, and some of them started from scratch, and some of them were poor.
I will tell you, I didn't see this question coming. I love history. I am amazed and fascinated and impressed by so many individuals through the years that have name recognition. I would be hard-pressed to pick one, but I will say off the top of my head, when it comes to entrepreneurship and being here in Princeton, New Jersey, the one person, if I had the opportunity to sit down with and have a detailed conversation, would be Benjamin Franklin.
Okay. Now, Benjamin Franklin was an innovator. He knew so much about science before his time. Now, what do you attribute to that? Because, I mean, look at centuries and centuries ago, the amazing philosophical people who understood so many things, probably better than today.
I have to agree. What that's tied to, I'm not really sure, and it's been a puzzle for me for a very long time how someone could have such an innovative mind that could adapt so well when it comes to formulating businesses, systems, and methodologies, which he was remarkable at. I really don't have an answer. I have to tell you, you stymied me on that one. If you or any of your listeners or future guests come to it, I would love to hear. I think for one thing, he didn't allow other people's opinion of himself or those that judge what he should or should not do sway his direction.
Yeah. Now, if you were to advise people a book to read that's all about entrepreneurship, what would that book be?
Let's see. And this could be any period?
Well, sure. Why not?
Okay, because now just lately, if you look at books on entrepreneurship, it's almost like you're taking a ticket in a deli line. They're just one after the other. It wanted to just jump out. I would have to say, excuse me, the E-Myth Revisited.
Okay, wait a minute.
Not the E-Myth, because the E-Myth was one where the author, Michael Gerber, came about describing a lot of different things that he would use to unfold with his business, and it actually didn't work. They found out years later it didn't apply. So he came back, and it was called the letter E, Myth, M-Y-T-H, Revisited, and the author is Michael Gerber, G-E-R-B-E-R. So he would be one that I would think of that would be a book that should be read today.
Now, what about you? Have you ever thought of writing a book?
I have written a book. My first book came out in 2004. The title is Welcome to the Human Experience. It is a book that was written for self-empowerment and inspiration. It is a book of inspirational sayings of my own. The book has been out of print now for a while, but thank you for asking. I'm actually working on my next book that is supposed to be out, if all goes well, the end of this year.
And what are you going to call it?
It's actually called, the editor wants to call it, Welcome to the Human Experience, Thoughts and Reflections on Life.
Now, that's a pretty interesting title. And what is different about that book than some of the other books that you've read? How much information can people get from the book? As
much or as little as they choose, because the book is designed very differently than, say, an entrepreneur type book or small business book or self-empowerment book. You can open this book to any page, and there is an inspirational saying. And there is a lot of white space for the reader to be able to take in what that statement is. And however it reflects and resonates for them, they can then make notes that connect back to that. So think of it as more of an inspirational piece of work that you can utilize as a journal as well, to help take you from where you are in your thought processes and your ideas, to help maybe change, shift, and expand with that particular statement to get you to move forward. One of the things in the book is fake it till you make it. Never believe it until you become it. Well, we've all heard fake it till you make it. Not too many people have heard believe it till you become it. What's the difference? Well, fake it till you make it is not being genuine. It's not being real. It's not being true to who you are. But if you believe something deep within your soul, within your heart, eventually you can achieve that.
So you're talking about passion. Is that correct?
I'm talking about passion. Another piece that I wrote is believing in yourself is not believing you can't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Can't to me is a four-letter word, is a curse word to me, because it's a victim statement. I can't do this. Oh, I can't do this. Or we've told as children moving forward, obviously our guardians and our parents and others do it because they're concerned about our well-being. But you can't do this. You can't do that. Well, it becomes part of who we are. It becomes this undesired mantra. I can't do this. It's victimization. I say take can't out of your vocabulary. Mm-hmm. Take can't out of your vocabulary for one day, just one day, and replace it with won't. So it's no longer the victim statement. Mm-hmm. I can't do something. It's an empowering statement. I won't do something. Mm-hmm. Can't is victimization. Won't is personal choice.
Right. So if you, again, were standing in front of a group and telling them all about how to become an entrepreneur, would you let them know that even if they don't succeed the first time, there's always a next time? Would you tell them that?
I would emphasize that more ways than you can imagine. I was blessed I started out being an entrepreneur very young. I was blessed to have a maternal grandfather who started his first business at 18 years old and had his last business into his late 80s.
Right.
Over the course of his life, he had 22 businesses. Mm-hmm. And he would say to me, some were successful, some not as much. But from each time, I learned something that could be applied to the next one. So there is no such thing as failure. It's a matter of taking a learning experience, because he said it could be the fact that you did not know enough. You were not in the most ideal location. Mm-hmm. It wasn't a particular business that had viability in the moment. You could have been ahead of the curve, or you could have been behind the curve. So he was someone that I admire, and I do to this day, and he's been going a long time, mm-hmm. where businesses grew, where they'd be sustainable, to the point where he's had businesses that employed thousands of individuals.
Right. Now, Marcus, one of my guests said that his father taught him that he could make lemons into lemonade. I love that statement. I thought it was really great. Now, do you believe that?
I believe every circumstance, every experience we have has value. It may not be an experience we would readily choose and seek out. It may not be something that triggers an emotional, happy place to be. It could be traumatic. It could be devastating. It could be unnerving. But I will tell you, I believe every circumstance that comes our way has value to be applied later along our journey.
Yeah. So today I've been speaking to Marcus Padulchick, who's a very interesting man, and he knows that people, doesn't matter whether it's a woman or a man, can become successful entrepreneurs, and he teaches that. And he's written a book, and I want you to repeat for our audience what the book that you wrote and what the book that's going to come out soon is, so that everybody can learn from you.
Thank you so much. The original book was Welcome to the Human Experience. The next book coming out at the end of this year is Welcome to the Human Experience, and we're going to have a subtitle on it. We're working out a couple of those things. But it's a book of inspiration to help shift your perspective and drive you forward, not only within business, but your personal life as well.
Well, that's good advice. Thank you, Marcus Padulchick, for being on the Susan Brender Show. You are an inspiration to people who want to start a business and people who want to be successful. Thank you, Marcus.
Susan, I cannot thank you enough for having me on the show. It was a pleasure, and thank you for your kind words. I appreciate that very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you for listening to The Susan Brender Show.